Good morning, everybody. We are talking about emotional resilience today. Now, I've got a little story I want to tell you. The interesting thing about today was not one person signed up for this webinar. Yeah, not one. Now, the old me would have literally said, oh, and taken it personally. People don't like me. Things are what's going on? Where's my community? And I wouldn't have even been here today. That's the old person, the old Claire, the old story that I want to tell you about. But what I realize is that the people that aren't showing up today might be shopping, spending time with kids, working perhaps, or perhaps today is not an emotional day. Therefore, it's not on a high priority list. And if that's you, I totally understand. I get it. This is what life is about. So, what does total resilience mean? What does it mean if we have emotional resilience? What does it mean if your emotions are fueling your life in a way that you don't want it to go, rather than a way that you want your life to go? And this is what we all hear about today. And I hope that when you're watching the replay, you're really going to know this replay is just for you. You found the replay for the right time, the right place. So let's dive in. So, first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about myself if you don't know. My life was an emotional mess. Yes, I can say it with ease now. It was an emotional mess. And I'll tell you a little bit of history and why I say so. I come from an old relationship that I felt I was always walking on eggshells. I didn't know if the mood was going to be up or down. I sometimes felt like I was either in heaven or hell, as they call it. And there was nothing in between. And this was made for a very interesting relationship when it came to my emotions. When you look at my emotions at that time and all the obstacles I had to learn to get to this point, right? So that's actually a good thing. That relationship was a really good thing because it taught me that this was so important and it changed my entire life. If you look at my emotions then, I was literally on the defense. I felt like the goalie standing, waiting for a ball to be kicked my way, and not sure if somebody was going to tackle me in the process, if I had to catch a ball, if I had to kick the ball, if I had to. I felt like I was always on guard. Like life was happening to me. It was an incredibly stressful time for me because in this period of life is happening to me, life was passing me by. I was not seeing the bigger picture. I was just literally looking for the next emotional nonsense feeling that was going to come up in whatever way it showed up, in either most of it fear, most of it anxiety, for moments of fleeting happiness, and then start the process all over again. And what I realized there is my EQ was incredibly low, as I didn't understand it. And I didn't even think that you could do something about it. It took for the relationship to get very bad and for me to one day pack up and leave and for me to restart an entire life. And that's not so long ago. It's about 3 years ago now. And was it easy? No. Was it better? Yes. Did I learn a lot? So much. And that is why I'm here today to spend this time with you and say, if you feel like you are in an emotional mess right now, it is okay. And this is most probably going to catapult you into a new life. And I'm very excited to bring you into this world of emotional resilience where we learn step by step how to become better and how to digest emotions that it serves us rather than a thing that harms us and scares us and we end up in a situation that we don't want to be in. So grab a pen and paper, and what I want you to do is I want you to write down, think of yourself right now, and I want you to choose one emotion, just one, as your default emotion. The person you see yourself as, in other words, how does the world see me and how do I see myself as? Perhaps the world sees you as friendly and kind and upbeat and happy, but how do you see yourself? What is your underlying emotion, the one that you operate from daily? Now, mine in that time was fear. I was so fearful that eventually my life became fear of everything, of everyone, of every circumstance. I became a fearing person. I can say that with ease now. At the time, I wouldn't have agreed with you. That's what we do, right? No, it's not me. Can't you see? I'm this happy person. So to the world, I was projecting this happy being, this happy person. But inside, I was really suffering. I was really hurting. And my default was fear, fear of myself, my emotions, other people, their reactions, walking on eggshells the whole day long, and not sure where life was leading me to. So take a second and ask yourself, what is my default emotion inside here? Not what the world sees, inside. What is going on inside here? While I sip my coffee, you can quickly write on that. Okay. So now that you kind of got an idea, and you can visit this again later, if you just got a heading for now, you can really ask yourself, like, what's really going on inside? Your default emotion is the one that shows up for everything. So if somebody has an argument with you, that's how you react. If you have a happy event, you'll also react, but from that base, from that foundation. Now, that foundation has, I like to call them a screen. A screen, think of it like a piece of plastic and a different colored piece of plastic. Each emotion has a different color, and if I had to imagine what it would look like. And each one allows me to see different colors in different ways. In other words, if I'm looking through a blue lens, that green plant there won't have the same green color as if I look through a clear plastic or a green plastic. So it would change the way I view it and see it. And this is what our emotional default setting does for us. It allows us to see things only in one way. I'm going to give you a good example. If you look at my fearful life, then what happened was, and that now imagine I've got this screen in front of me, and this is how I'm viewing everything in my life. So if you came to me and said to me, hence this webinar, people didn't show up, I would take it as a personal insult. I would take it as, oh no, that means I'm not good enough. Interesting that I would think that. In the same way, if somebody came and said something about my video, that the spelling was wrong, or that is a funny intro, or that was that, my past would have immediately taken offense to it and put me in a fearful state. What does that mean about me? Am I not good enough? Is this does my spelling make me the person who I am? Perhaps I was tired, I quickly put it in, I couldn't, whatever the case. Okay, so that was the old way of thinking. However, when I changed the emotional resilience, something interesting happened. And that was that now I look at something like that and I go, that person must really like me enough to tell me that this is a mistake because they want the best for me. Ooh, interesting. Do you see how our perception and our lens changes when we start changing our default emotion? Now, that default emotion is there as a guiding star for you. And the good news is, if you don't like this default emotion, you can change it anytime. And it's simple. All you have to do, notice where you are, you've written it down, and now say, what do I want? And write it down. Well, I want to be emotional resilient. I want to not think of myself as not good enough. If somebody sends you a bad email or somebody phones and complains, do you take it as a personal insult to you? Do you go, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy? Or are you sitting and looking at life and going, what can I learn from this? How can I change my emotional resilience? Does it really mean that, or could it mean something else, like the person's actually trying to help me because they actually care for me enough to do that? Well, this is where you need to start doing your homework, is ask yourself those deep questions. So the biggest thing with my feelings then was this. Let's talk about feelings. Feelings are a gateway to your soul. Feelings are a gateway to the pictures going on in your mind. Ooh, that's a big one. It's a gateway to the pictures going on in your mind. And this is something that I learned. Your feelings tell you what exactly is going on in here and if it's good or bad. And there's literally two feelings. They all stem from two sides. One is feeling good, amazing, wonderful, and one is bad, often known as fear. That was me. I was operating in fear constantly. Now, off that stems lots of things. It could be sadness, disgust, disease, not trusting. It could be a whole stack of emotions. But with this side of good feelings, there is understanding, compassion, there is love, there is creativity, there is thinking deeply about the other person and trying to understand them rather than bringing it inwards in here. There is a really different feel to the love feeling versus the fear feeling and what the two actually represent in your life. I like to call my feelings as a road map. A map, it's like, you know, when you climb in your car and you're driving and there's road signs everywhere, you get a no entry road sign. So when anger jumps up in my life, I literally see anger now as a big no entry sign, literal sign. That's what I see in my head as soon as I feel anger, because I know that anger does not come from love. It comes from fear, it comes from scarcity, it comes from a place of old thinking, it comes from old habits, it comes from I'm not good enough, it comes from that specific place. And this is something that we often look into. We just think it's normal. But when we deeply go and investigate that feeling, you're going to see that it actually has deep meaning inside and actually gives you signs as to where you are and where you should be going. So start seeing your emotions as signs, as things that's really going to make a difference in your life, things that's going to help you. I often look at my feelings as helpful road signs that's showing me the way to where I want to go. Sometimes it says speed up when they're good feelings. I know, oh, it's like I'm on the highway. I can drive 120, right? If it is a fear-faced feeling or a feeling of annoyance, I often go, ooh, or I stump my toe and I'm getting annoyed. I think to myself, it's a slow down. You are in the urban area. You can't just be flying off the handles right now. Slow down, think about it. Are you giving yourself enough time? Are you rushing? Because rushing could be another emotional feel to it. So each emotion, therefore, has this road sign that I attach. And I use this because I want you to have a tangible thing for you to use. You can use and connect any road sign with any feeling. And when you get them, give it a meaning. And then what you can do is you can literally stop and go, I need to speed up. I need to slow down. Oh, I need to stop here and think. Oh, this is something nice. Or perhaps, have you ever seen a hospital sign or an animal sign? You know, it says beware of some animal, or falling rocks, or there's a curve ahead, or there's a big sharp turn. So those are things in life that you can really start playing with and making your own road signs. Now, when I started this process, one thing I realized was, for a good chunk of my life, I would say 99% of my life. I used to take any feeling that I didn't like, and I used to throw a blanket over it or tuck it away or just totally ignore it. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to look at it because why? It felt uncomfortable. I didn't like it. And I'm sure many of us sitting here can literally say we have been in those shoes where something is so unpleasant that we just say, I can't deal with this right now. And here's the thing, when my late husband died, I was thrown into a world of the lease of the house ran out. Malcolm had just died. Suddenly I'm a widow. Suddenly I'm a single mama. Suddenly I'm homeless and I was looking after him. So now I'm jobless. And suddenly my world turned upside down. So not only was I grieving, but I had to find a job. I had to find a home. I had to move. I had to let everything go. It was a very turmoil is a good time word to use. It was a lot of turbulence in my life at the time, lots of unsurety. And I took a big blanket and I said, I don't have time for grief. I don't have time for sadness. I don't have time for my thoughts. I don't have time because I'm trying to survive. And I made the story in my head. I'm in survival mode. There's no time. For those of you who know my story, you know how that ended, right? Loneliness, meet another loneliness. Two lonely people, not a recipe for success. Which is a fantastic learning lesson for me, right? And then later, you guys know the rest of the story of the other relationship and how I got into that. If you don't know, keep watching because it's going to come up somewhere again. But anyway, so what I learned was that when we take those emotions and we dumb it down, put a blanket over it, we push it away, we ignore it, what happens is they start showing up in fury. They start showing up in ways that will not make you forget or try and poke it. It's like me saying to you, wait, I tell you what, do not think about the pink elephant with a blue butterfly on its butt. What did you just see in your head? The pink elephant with a blue butterfly on the butt, because your head's going, well, I had to see it before I can unsee it. And it's like this whole process, right? Feelings work the same way. It's showing you the feeling, you're taking the feeling and you're trying to push it away. The more you're pushing it away, more it comes up again because you're thinking about the thing that you don't want to think about. Therefore, it keeps bringing it up again. Then what I realized in my journey of healing was the following. And I was like, how is that possible? Yet it works. Excuse me, let me just take a breath. What I learned was this. If you allow a feeling, in other words, we don't push it away, we actually allow it. What happens is the first couple of times you're going to do this, your body's going to go, wait, what? What are you doing? It doesn't know what to do with the information. So it looks like this. I'm sad. Okay, I'm sad. The old Claire would have taken sadness and chucked it away. I would have buried it. I would have put my head in this. I don't have time. I would go and work. I would try and push it away. Then what I realized was if I sat with sadness, sat with it and said, okay, sadness, you're obviously trying to tell me something. Perhaps teach me something. My road sign coming up. Let me feel into you for a little bit. Now, studies show that only 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes is all you need at max. Usually they start dissipating in 10 seconds. You literally feel them without doing anything with them. Just feel it. So, okay. I am going to put my stopwatch on and I am going to time you. Let's feel sadness. Feel it. If it means you cry, you cry. If it means you really feel that horrible feeling in your throat, you feel it. You identify it. You see it. You feel it. Is it in my stomach? What does it feel like? You just feel it. You're not ignoring it because ignoring keeps coming up, right? You're feeling it. What happens here is something incredible. It just dissipates. It goes away. And what you find is that life suddenly starts giving you different circumstances. Life all of a sudden shows up differently. But how is that? Why did sadness go away? Why didn't it come back again? Well, you allowed the feeling, you allowed the time, you allowed the emotion, and your body's going, now what? Now you can go and dig a little deeper. Why am I feeling sad? What does that mean to me with this lens that I'm looking through? Perhaps I'm feeling sad because it made me feel not good enough, not worthy enough, not seen perhaps. Is it really the truth, or is it the way that I was looking at it through this lens? And there comes the secret sauce, the way I was looking at it through my secret lens. So, this lens of mine is a little bit tainted. I need a clear colored plastic. This color is not working for me anymore. What else could it mean? What is the truth to this? How do other people see this when it happens? Am I the only one that doesn't get this? Could I speak to a coach and really discover what's going on deep inside? Or could I really just sit and talk it out with a friend that is non-judgmental and is not going to try and fix something, just get me to talk on it? Okay, well, there's some options to look at. So when you start looking at this from this point of view, what you find is life starts changing the color lenses. As soon as you start feeling the feelings, those lenses start changing back to its original clear state. I know I'm using a couple of weird ways of explaining it, but I'm kind of trying to make sense of how it worked for me and trying to make you understand my head a little bit. And I'm hoping it helps you a little bit in this process. So the way we feel and allow the feeling, you don't even have to do anything with it, you just feel it, is literally saying, I am allowing me. I am allowing my feelings. Maybe the world is not allowing your feelings yet, but you are allowing it. Meaning, for the first time in your life, you are loving yourself enough. You are loving yourself enough to really feel you. You as a soul, you. I hope this really sticks with you, because when you really get this, your life is going to change. So don't just listen. If you have to rewind and start again and really embody this, because this is life changing. This introduction that I'm giving you now, without anything else in your life, can change your life if you embody it. Meaning, you take this information, you start living it, you start doing it. You don't intellectually just understand and go, yeah, I'm going to try it. Because trust me, I've been there, done that too, it doesn't work. I've done course after course after course after course after course with all the intellectual stuff, trying to understand it. Doesn't work until you embody it. Then anything will work. People who embody course material change their life instantly. Everything changes overnight. So if you can make a 360-degree turn like I did, because I embodied. I took it and I was like, I'm living, breathing, eating. I'm understanding this. I will do anything to do this, because clearly my way didn't work. That kind of embodiment, that kind of pick up the phone. What do you mean with this? I don't get it. Write a mail. You said this on this course. How did you mean? I'm still not understanding this. Until I got it, understood it, embodied it, worked through it, did it, and all of a sudden, boom, my life changes. If you walk into my house now, I can't remember when last we had an argument in this house. I can't remember when last our emotions were in the air. And I don't think it's ever been in this house. Yeah, we've been emotional, experiencing emotion like sadness, like we all do, or happiness. But those outbursts of emotion, I've never experienced in this house, because that is embodiment, taking this and really changing my life. I expected the world to change. I wanted that person, that person, that person, that person to change, because that was unfair and it was unjust and it was horrific and it hurt me. I wanted them to change and see their way. But until I saw my way and I understood me, it didn't matter what was thrown to me from the world. It didn't matter the unjust. It didn't matter the pain. It didn't matter, because I started loving and healing me. And guess what happened? The world changed. The house changed. The environment changed. The people changed. Yeah, I lost some, even family. I lost friends and family. And to this day, sure, it hurts. Sure, it's not nice. But you know what? That price for this, I cannot tell you. If I had to put a choice, and I know in my heart of hearts, everything will come right and it will be a big circle and everything will come back into its original order. And to my heart of hearts, I still love as much as I did then, and say, I love you regardless, because I understand my emotions now. I understand the things that you could have been going through. I can understand this and that and the other. Sure, I feel hurt. Of course, I feel hurt. If I didn't, there's something wrong. But then I feel it. What is that trying to tell me? What does that show me about me? Am I trying to make myself small and ugly and horrible? Or am I trying to understand myself and become better every day? Is the question. So giving you some big they're not even nuggets. People, this is more than gold. If I took all my course experience and put them in one thing, and you really embody this stuff, this is the one video that's going to change your life. Listen to it often, because every time you listen to it, you'll hear something else, because you'll be on a different vibration and frequency. So now that you know that, there were many tools that helped me on my way. So many tools. The first one is to realize that if I'm in one of those emotional outbursts, you know, the one where you're totally freaking out, where nothing makes sense, where you go on the shake and the jitters, where you can't breathe, one of those. I'm sure you've experienced it. We're human. We do. So what did I do then? Because that I had to learn too. Before, it was just freak out world. And I'm just going to freak out, and hopefully somebody's going to hold me and tell me it's going to be okay. But I didn't know, how do I do that for myself? How can I bring that calm in the storm to myself, rather than look to the nearest person? And most of the time they're in a bad mood too. So all they're doing is pushing away. They don't want to bring you in for that comfort and that love. So what did I do with the different tools? The first thing is, you have to realize that if you are in a state of emotional upheaval, you are in your emotional brain. You are not in a rational brain. And here comes one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned. When you're in your emotional brain, you need to calm it down. You need to calm your nervous system down before you say and do the thing that you are going to regret for the rest of your life. When we speak from emotions, things come out. We say things, we do things that as they're coming out, we want to suck it back in, because you know this thing is going to hurt you or your relationship or whatever it is. And that is the thing that we have to work on, is to understand, well, I'm in my emotional brain and this is dangerous territory. I need to calm this down. So how do you calm down a nervous system when you feel like you just want to run outside and scream? Well, first of all, if you feel like you want to go run outside and scream, remember what I said, nowadays I'd actually listen to the feeling. You know, you might find that a neighbor or two might find that you're a little bit loony in the process. But if it means going into your room, grabbing a pillow and screaming, why not? If you're angry, could it mean that you grab a broomstick, go to your bedroom, put a pillow on your bed and whack the pillow? Well, I've done that before. And guess what? All of a sudden you feel like, oh my goodness, I feel so much better. And guess what? You didn't hurt somebody else. You didn't say the thing that you didn't want to say. You weren't in an emotional upheaval of a time that you were thinking, oh my goodness, I've just wish I could have taken that back. And 20 years later, you're still thinking about the thing you wish you could have taken back. No, you don't have that anymore. Why? Because one, you listen to your feelings, you experience your feelings, and you're now going to get yourself into a rational brain. So either by feeling it, or then using things like breathing exercises to actually physically calm down your nervous system. So what does this look like? I'll give you one of the breathing exercises. For me, people were started with the 7-3-4 method and the 6-2-7 method and the this and that method. And I was like, oh man, when I am stressed, the last thing I want to think of is numbers I can't remember. And then one of my coaches says, Claire, it's easy. Just do box breathing. So it looks like this, like a box, right? You would breathe in for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through your nose. Now hold for 4. Now breathe out for 4. Helps if you do it through your mouth. And now hold for 4. Start the process again and do it 4 times. 4, 4, 4, 4. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold. Get the picture? Do it 4 times, and all you focus on is just the breath. You don't focus on anything else. If the thought jumps into your head, just gently push it aside and say, breathing first, breathing first. I'm going to attend to you now. First, we're calming our nervous system. I'm going to attend to you now. Sometimes if you say that to yourself, you'll find that you automatically start relaxing. So you start breathing 4 times. And as soon as you bring that breath, you'll find your heart rate starts going slower. Your breathing slows down. You start relaxing. Another technique while you're doing it is you can say the word physical, relax in your head. Relax. If I'm tense, I actually tell myself in my head, relax. Okay. Now what you can do is you can actually go further and just tell yourself, relax your head, relax the muscles on your forehead, relax your eyes, relax your cheekbones, relax your jaw. We often clench when we're scared or angry, right? Relax. Relax your neck, your arms, your torso, your stomach, your hips, your legs, your toes, and physically feel the relax. That will bring you back into a state of a rational mind. And now that you're in a rational mind, feel your feelings. So that helps a lot. Another thing that really helped me, and I'm giving you 1 or 2 tools, but I've still got stacks of tools, is something that I call a worry dump. If you are totally worried and living in that fear world that I used to live in, take your alarm clock, set it for 10 minutes. And what I want you to do is I want you to just write and write. It doesn't matter how it comes out. It doesn't matter what you say. I want you to write. If it's angry, let it be angry. If it's sad, let it be sad. And just write and write. Write for 10 minutes and just write and write and write. And when the alarm clock goes off, you take the piece of paper, you chuck it away, you burn it, you put it away. It actually doesn't matter. But what you're going to find is automatically you like sit up and you go, ooh, that feels so much better. So if you are on a scale of 10 out of 10, freaking out and worrying, as soon as you've done it, you might feel you're on a 2 or a 3 now. And now that you go back into a rational brain, we can then start unraveling it and we can start seeing it through the different lens. The way I see it is the more emotionally charged you are, the more filters, the more of those colored lenses. And we are going to distort what's really going on because we're in a state of awareness, heightened awareness, and we only focus on specific things that that light allows, and we are not seeing the full picture as it is supposed to be. So that, I hope, is really going to help you. Now, there's so much more I can tell you about all of us. There's been some amazing things that people have brought into emotional resilience. Tools you can use like Ho'oponopono. Yeah, I actually said Ho'oponopono. What? Well, go and research it. It's an ancient Hawaiian technique that actually helps you with emotional regulation. There are so many things. There's EFT, there's tapping, there is, oh my goodness, meditations, there's prayer, there is talking to coaches, and tools galore, the emotional code. It's all there and ready for the taking. And of course, I have made a course just for you on all of that. Because what I did was I took all my courses that I've done, things that have worked for me. And remember, I've had to do lots of courses to kind of find it. And I put it into one course with lots of tools, right? From visualizations, from something called PQ. It was an amazing course. It was a 6-week course, was fantastic. Mindfulness, and it just, the list goes on and on and on and on. And really how to look at your emotions and really bring it into a state of balance and calmness for you to change that lens. And for you to realize that emotions are part of you as a being and they're never going to go away. But when you learn how to deal with emotions and what they're trying to tell you and what they are doing in you, in your life for you, that, my friends, is where you learn emotional resilience. So now, when that big thing comes up that stresses you out, you see things differently. And years down the line, you look back and you go, man, have I grown. I mean, this morning in point, look at this, you know? So instead of me freaking out, going, I'm not good enough, I'm going, I get it. Life is busy. People might not be emotionally charged right now, but down the line, you might have found this video, and this video is speaking 100% just for you. It feels like I'm sitting having this conversation with you. That is how we overcome it. That is when years down the line, you look at yourself and you look at the world in a very different lens and you go, oh, life has become good. So if you want to know more about the course, you can hop onto my website, which is www.clairebossoff.com. Look at the spelling in the bottom of my name on this Zoom link, clairebossoff.com. And you can go to courses and add to the shop and to courses and emotional resilience. There you will find a NAS recording like this, where it will open up into an entire course. It's got more than, it's even got an ebook in there for free. It's got some amazing meditations, visualizations, hypnosis. It's got all the techniques that you can think of using that's going to help you on your path to emotional resilience. And the price there is pretty good if you consider what I've paid for all this information. It's silly compared to what you'll be getting. You're getting it all into one toolbox. So it is going to be amazing. It is going to be good. If this is where you want to go, perhaps you just want to digest this for a little bit and this is good enough for now. You want to revisit that later. That is good. Or you can just jump straight in. If you're anything like me, I need it and I need it now. I need to fix this now. Well, the choice is totally up to you. But know this, that through this path, you have me and you have a community that is every step behind you, because we've been there. We know what it feels like. Our emotions have been haywire, and we have really looked at life with a new lens now. And now looking back and say, oh, this worked. Yeah, that didn't work so well, but only because I didn't understand this then. And so we have started putting this course. So you might find that course might change and come back and forward. It's got some amazing journaling prompts in there that's going to help you journal and understand yourself really better, and those emotions and things that's going on inside of yourself. So it's like an all-in-one package. So please visit my site and go and have a look at it. If you are called to change this emotional path and you want to live, like I say, I've been living in this house now for 3 years. And, I look at this and I look at my kids and what we've achieved with our emotions and how we've learned to talk and how we've learned to communicate with ease and love, rather than that coming from this place of fear and just lashing out and hurtful things. It might be a good step for you as well. So with all my love and blessings and your new path on emotional resilience, let me know how it's going. My email address, sorry, for a moment it left me, where you can mail me, is info@clairebossoff.com. And I'd love to hear from you. So my clients are always talking to me, or you might find me in the NAS community and you can just talk there too, because I'm always up to date and watching that. It's like my favorite place to be. So Let me know how this goes. Ask questions, do things, get involved with the community. If you're just sitting being quiet on the sideline, let me tell you, it is not in your best interest, my friends. When you start opening up and when you start talking about things, when you really start revisiting your life and you really like starting to dig in and embody this, you got to start talking. You got to start expressing, and you're going to see your life is going to change overnight. So for all of us, changing lives step by step and helping others change theirs, cheers, and wishing you the best afternoon. Bye-bye.